Welcome to our first follow-up interview of Challenger League today with the Tekken 7 champion Sephiblack. Yo, Sephi, how is it going?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Sinjo, for being here. Yeah, I hope you're also doing good.
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm here with you, and in the meantime, you not only have won a Challenger League, but you also won Hessen Crash 2 weeks ago. So now we have the double 2BCU tournament champion sitting here. But so I'm very happy to have you here. So Sephi, for everyone that doesn't know you that well yet, could you give a short introduction to yourself?
Yes, I am Sephiblack, 30 years old, and I'm playing competitive Tekken 7 for big, and playing Tekken for over 14 years from now on. So yes, that's I think pretty short summary of myself.
14 years. I still remember World Cyber Games 2010.
Yeah.
Where you won the qualifier, you represented Germany in South Korea. So you have been winning tournaments for such a long time. And that was Tekken 6. And you also used Miguel at that time. So why Miguel? Like you're still sticking to him in Tekken 7. He's always been your main. So like why that character?
Yeah, Miguel, I started to play Tekken in Tekken 5, but since Miguel didn't exist there, I started to play the Tekken 5 with Law, since my best friend also played Law. And in Tekken 6, I tried other characters because I like to experiment or test out other characters as well. And first off, it was Lars, but there was something on Lars that I didn't like. Then I tried Miguel, and he was like, man. And I was like, man, he's so cool. This stylish but so brutal character is like fitting perfectly for me. So that's why I stick to him since Tekken 6.
Would you say you said he's such a stylish character, but would you also say he fits your play style? Because from my experience, you have like an amazing defense, right? I would call you kind of like a wall. It's so difficult to break your defense, and Miguel is one of these characters with very strong neutral, right? So would you say it's also kind of a gameplay thing?
Not that much. It's more like I started to play him because he's cool. And then I was like, for me, the priority from the past was that I wanted to play a cool character. That's why I played Law, because I was a Bruce Lee fan. And Tekken 6, I liked Miguel because he was like also very cool. But like but my general play style is more defensive in general. It's not connected to Miguel. Because Miguel is more efficient if you play him aggressive, but I like to play him defensive at the most times. That's why it doesn't fit in this sense, but I still like to make him work in a defensive way, like as much as I can. He has still good defensive tools, but his core strength is being aggressive.
Okay, well, I mean, your tournament results kind of show that you can win with him in a defensive style as well. Watching other players play in tournaments, I've seen that quite a few players, especially now in Tekken 7, have these pocket picks, and they, sometimes they switch it up. You have, like, for example, Fran with the Anna Williams, but also the Gun Ryu, or, Tetsu played Lydia, but still had his like comfort pick Claudio. But you kind of always stick to Miguel, no matter the matchup. Is there any specific reason why you don't go for counter picks or like these pocket picks?
I understand them that they counter pick for certain matchups, and they pick another character for certain matchups because it feels like easier if they pick another character and it makes sense. But the thing is, for me, I want to win with Miguel most of the time because I feel like Miguel has an answer for everything, and it matters of my own playstyle how efficient he can be. Like, he has good keep outs, good rush down, and good 50-50s, but you need to know how to use them properly to win every matchup. Because I feel like in the most or almost every matchup, he can still beat the opponent or the character, especially in the first two. Since it's super short, it doesn't matter that much. A good or bad matchup if you know how to deal with it.
Okay, so it's confidence, right? It's just a decision-making thing in that case. So, well, you already talked about, well, usually it's short sets, and you also won a very long set, a very, very exciting set in Challenger League Season 5. So first, you won against Pika in Season 4 very decisively. It was kind of a very one-sided grand final. But last season in Season 5, you had to face Oracle from France. And I think the score was 5-2 for Oracle. And then you all of a sudden, you completely turned the tides. And then it was a 7-5 in the end. So even, in a very long set, like against Oracle, was that like a difficult character matchup, player matchup? I mean, Oracle is performing very well right now. So like just going back to 1 month ago, like how do you feel about the player and the character matchup?
I feel like in this against Oracle, it was more like a thing that I didn't handle the Anna matchup that well at the beginning, and that's why he was leading that well. And I figured out some habits he had during the set, because first to 7 set is like you still got enough time to find an answer against certain strategies, which makes it quite good if you know how to deal with it. That's why I could, like, when I found my weaknesses during this set, I could like switch my strategy and beat him. But it was more like a combination of both, like like Anna and Oracle. And that's why I could like beat him, because I adjusted to the things that Anna did. Like, I think like he did quite often down for 1-2, and then I did know how to handle it with Sides of Bright, for example.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a bit longer to adjust, so I definitely can relate to that. So luckily it was first to 7 grand finals.
Luckily, yes.
So, we will be back with season 6. Not this year, but next year. Okay. And it is very likely we will have Tekken. So, Sephi, will you do the hat-trick? You won season 4, you won season 5, you're going to win season 6 as well?
I'm looking forward to them. Yeah, I try to, but I feel like every player becomes better during the time. Like Oracle improved, and all the other players that started with Tekken 7 are still improving. And this makes it so like difficult to like winning against everyone, because like I need to prepare for them, and it's not an easy task to do. But I will give my best to get the hat-trick for sure.
Okay. I mean, you have some tournaments coming up where you can still download the data. There's going to be the Tekken World Tour Finals. There will also be the Tekken World Tour, that's already done. But we have the Tekken Germany Championship coming up in December. And then we have hopefully the Tekken European Championship coming up for you. I mean, we're gonna send our German champion to Lyon to place to fight there. So, who would you say is your biggest rival in Germany? Because Tekken Germany Championship is coming up in December, and if you go to the European final, who would you say is your biggest rival there?
From the Germans or from the Europeans?
In this case, from Germany. Like, who's your biggest rival in Germany, and then outside of Germany, like, who's your biggest rival?
It's difficult because there are few people who are like really, really strong, but I would consider that Tetsu is my biggest rival so far, because like he's the only person, or he's the person who knows me the best from my playstyle, and it's really difficult if you play against someone that knows you like in and out, like the habits that I have. He already knows it, and yeah, that's why I always need to find something new and be very like creative, or not creative, but I need to work on my neutral pretty well to beat him. Otherwise, he will beat me so dominantly. So Tetsu, and two other players like Drichen Rama is really strong, considered being my rival right now, because we also played like a short or small tournament where the result was pretty close, and in the last tournament he also won against me, I think. So, and that's why there's always like an back and forth between the two of us. And HK Junior, like, is also like super dominant. If he recently is really, really good, also considered to be one of the best Germans. But if he would travel more, like, we would see more like great tournament results of him, I think. And yeah, it's also not easy to beat him, I feel like. Yeah, and for Europe, compared, if I think about Europe, like Super Akuma beat me pretty dominant in the last tournaments that I played against him for over 1 year. I also want to change it. And offline tournaments, like Joker beat me in every tournament. Like 4 times we faced each other in tournaments, and he beat me in all 4 sets. And I feel like I want to change it in the upcoming tournaments that are happening soon.
Do you already have any plan how you can change that? Because, you know, sometimes it's just people just have your number, right? And it's so difficult to kind of break that streak, to kind of find the solution to that. But like, you don't have to spoil it. You don't have to spoil whatever you have in mind. But do you already have something in mind how you can beat Super Akuma or Joker in the future, if they are so in your mind?
Yeah, in general, if I lose against someone, I like to rewatch my matches against them. Like, I think all of our matches were on stream or recorded in some kind of way, so I can rewatch them. I like to do that and think about the moves that hit me, or that outplayed me basically in this set that I had against them, and find for a solution against these kind of moves, like maybe the jump of Akuma, how I can beat it, or in which situations certain moves are coming. I need to realize that and play against them different. And then I will go to practice mode, test certain these specific like strategies that Super Akuma or Joker had, and find a solution against it. And the last point is that I play against these characters more before I play against them in the tournament, in the next tournament. Like if I know that next week I need to play potentially against Super Akuma, then I try to play against Akuma before I go to that tournament, because I want to be ready for that. And it helps if you play against the character to feel ready in this matchup.
Okay, so in this case, you would kind of look at who's your opponent. You kind of check the the patterns of the opponent, and that's kind of like how you prepare for a tournament. Do I understand that correctly?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Good. So you mentioned that Germany has been becoming quite the strong Tekken region right now. Mm-hmm. A lot of Germans are placing in top 8s, and we have some new names also winning these tournaments like ICFC online, where we had like HK Junior, Starbreaker, Don Billy, Maymoon, and so on showing up. And I still remember in the past, like when back when I started playing fighting games in like 2006, people were like, "Oh my God, the Italians are coming, or maybe the Polish crew is coming. There's no chance Germans are gonna win this. There's like no chance. It's gonna be Italy versus Poland. They're gonna run the tournament." Like what? What kind of what changed? What changed? Why is Germany so good right now?
There are, I think, many factors that are important for this switch of like this change that happened for Germany. I feel like more Germans are like preparing for tournaments or preparing for like to become better. Like in general, they don't want to be like, they also want to compete in tournaments or just want to beat strong players. And since we have like often online tournaments like ICFC, they have got the chance to compete like this. They have the opportunity to compete in weekly tournaments online and like show their skills. And that's why they prepare for these tournaments. They practice like for top players to potentially beat them. And this makes it so like the motivation that the German players has got in Tekken 7 is like different from the past. Like, and I also remember in Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2 times, like Germany wasn't that important for fighting games or for like Tekken in general. And Italy and Poland were more like considered to be one of the strongest European scenes. But since they don't compete that much anymore compared to Germans, the Italians and the Polish people, I feel like they did a step back from competing. But the Germans are like, there are many Germans who are actually really good and not even like to compete in tournaments, and it's really interesting to see them to shine if they try to enter a tournament, when they enter a tournament, because they practicing a lot, I have to say, like in smaller groups as well. Like I know for Tetsu and HK Junior and Kaizo Kulas, like they like to play against each other and push them, push
each other to the next level, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And this helps a lot for like to motivate the people with themselves.
Yeah, it's great to see that people can play the game easily against each other. You don't need to travel through half the country to get some offline matches in. And one thing I really notice is that some of the top players are like just 18, 19 years old. So, in other games, sometimes you have the top players being like the strongest players for 20 years. And now in Tekken, in Germany, we kind of have players that, they probably never touched Tekken 6 because they were too young. So now it's like, am I old school? Because I started Tekken 7 Season 1, right? So
it's been 5 years ago that Tekken 7 Season 1 came out, so it's been a long time.
Absolutely. And it's for me as a TO, I can only say I'm very happy to see Germans winning tournaments offline and offline. It's great to see we have people to root for, and it's great to see that Germany is performing so well. talking about newcomers, we had some questions on Twitter. For example, one question was, what would you suggest beginners to focus on when they start playing Tekken? Like, what should they look at first?
I think like the easiest start for Tekken players or for people who want to start Tekken is doing combos. Like doing combos or trying to do the sample combos or for every launcher that you have is like an easy task to do if you don't want to play against someone else, because you can do it for yourself and you can see some reward from it, because you just need to do the inputs at the right timing and you will get your reward. And I feel like at the beginning, if you play Tekken, you can focus on combos because they do the most damage and you want to do a lot of damage in general. And I feel like even now compared to the past, people learn combos way earlier than they used to, because I think like in green ranks they already can do like crazy good combos, and I feel like the level and the general level did increase from the players that learn Tekken. But besides of doing combos, like learning the notations is also something that I would recommend for the beginning, so you can communicate with people about the game without being confused. Because if you want to learn other stuff, you need the notations. Like you need to know what quick wall is, like what the inputs up, back, forward, down, and stuff like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I feel like you can also get a fast reward from that. Yeah.
Okay. So another question was, what do you think differentiates top players? Like, what makes them stronger than other players? For example, Knee. Like, why is Knee such a god?
I feel like the adaptation is the most important thing from players, especially for Knee, because he's very good at being defensive and waits a lot for the right momentum, but he knows when to be aggressive as well, and can be aggressive in a really good way, in a really efficient way. And what makes Knee a top player so good compared to other players, that he is never insecure about his gameplay. While other players who are like have good times to be like a great player are pretty can be very insecure about their gameplay if something is not happening in their way that they want. Like if you are playing your game and then something happened, a good player can be confused and doesn't know how to focus again in that match. And keeping the composure is really important. That you, even no matter what happens, you need to stay like focused for the next rounds, because it's not over until it's over. And some people are like giving up already before the whole match, before the whole set is over. And I feel like Knee is even though the opponent is leading 1-0 with 2 rounds, it's not over for Knee, because he knows how he is approaching to win the set.
Okay, so it's kind of a game sense and also kind of a mentality thing, right? It's kind of like a psychological thing where people just believe in their skill. And I mean, you probably know best that if you're behind by 1 match and like 2 bubbles, the opponent won 5 rounds in a row. So of course you can also win 5 rounds in a row.
Definitely. Yeah. It's more about the right mindset, to not give up and see like being optimistic, or like focus to continue to play really good, because theoretically it's not over, and you can still like win every round from that point.
Okay. Okay. So those are that's what makes the strong players the strongest. And we also had two kind of personal questions for you. One question was, how do you handle the fame? Because you're kind of the poster boy for German Tekken, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I try. It sounds weird, but I try to be the same as since I play Tekken. But I don't know if I'm still the same. Other people can judge it better than I do, because you know me also for longer now, and other people that I know from Tekken, from the previous Tekken, knows me also for a longer time, and I feel like I should stay the same. I don't want to be like cocky or like arrogant and something like this. This is not my type to be, but I hope I can stay the same for the rest of my Tekken career in general, because I feel like even though people are getting if I'm successful, the personal attitude shouldn't change. Like, okay, maybe I'm more successful than I used to, but it shouldn't affect my personality in this sense, that I become arrogant. And I hope other people don't see me like this, because I feel like I'm maybe too, how can I say it? Some people, I think, when they see me on tournaments, they think like I don't like to interact with them because I don't know them. But I'm actually very. If someone would go in front of me and wants to talk, feel free to talk. I don't mind, and I feel like it's at the end, it's just a game, and we just want to have fun, and it shouldn't affect our personality, like being too arrogant. This would be a bad character development from my side.
Yeah, I can. I love the humble answer, and I think you're absolutely correct. At least I can say I think you're one of the best pro players to as a like a public figure, because you for me as an observer, you always look so humble, and I mean, you're kind of a legend, so it's great to hear that you want to kind of be yourself and approachable. It's great to hear. And one other question was that if you do any sports.
I used to do sports, like I used to like go to the gym and how can I say, practice? workout to do workout there. But yeah, it's been a few years that I did it like in a consistent way. But it's in general important to keep you in shape. For like in general, like when you are in your 30s, I don't feel like it's getting better and better. You need to work hard look for that you need to stay like in shape, because this will also help you to perform better. Like if you are doing workout, it helps your brain to be faster for decision making, and decision making is super important for like in Tekken. If you want to if you want to do fast decisions or fast actions, you need to be ready. And if your body is not like in shape, you will see it in the gameplay usually. That's why I try to be more like to work out more.
Did you do like just a question, like did you have ever had any issues, like any like wrist issues or something? Because I remember, for example, at the mix-up, who was it from Korea, Kokoma, who kind of like, he kept pressing his shoulder, and I was like, oh man, It doesn't look healthy, and I think he also wrote something on Twitter afterwards that he has this permanent condition. You ever felt that you needed to do something because of carpal tunnel or something?
Luckily, I'm not playing on stick, but I feel like stick players usually have like wrist pain and more pain in the arms or in the hands than like pad players. Luckily, I don't have like issues like this. But yeah, in Kokoma's case, he's also like he has also besides of his arm, he also has like shoulder, as you said, other like illness. I would say I don't know how to call it, but other issues with his body. But yeah, luckily for me, it's not that the case. Like the only problem is the age, but it should be it's normal to be like getting older.
Sadly, we can't turn back the clock, right? I mean,
unfortunately not.
Yeah, you just grow older, and your body just shows. In German we call it the Wohlstandsbau.
Yeah.
It's just showing your wealth, right?
True. Yeah, unfortunately, this increases, and the rest will get worse. Yeah.
Well. Let's hope age doesn't eat your tournament performance, because I mean so far it's looking very good, and I mean Tekken seems like it. Looking at the other top players, they also have been playing for such a long time. Some of them, like, so I think you should be good to go.
Yeah, like Nee is the best example. Like he's over his 30s, like I think like 37, and he's like still considered to be one of the best players in the world. So he's the best, like, or Daigo if you look for Street Fighter, also in his being 40 and still so good in this game. So it's if you're active in the game that you play, you will always be successful. I feel like it matter. One of the most important things is that you keep playing the game and invest time in it, because the reward will happen sooner or later.
I think that's a great comment to finish off our interview today. Sephi, where can people find you, and how can they support you?
They find me on social media platforms like Twitter. I think I'm called Sephiblack there. Instagram, where I don't usually post that much, but I try to do more in the future for more private stuff, not so much tech related, but more private related. And where I stream is on Twitch, where I'm also called Sephiblack. So on these three, and on YouTube, I sometimes upload my tournament matches, or sets that I do on my stream, and it's also called Sephiblack. It's pretty easy to find me on the different platforms.
Okay, so people just need to look out for Sephiblack, and then they will find you. So, any final comments? Anything you want our viewers to know, or?
Let me think. In general, advice for people who are like getting frustrated in the game, like there are like times where you are having success and where you have like failures, but the failures are like building you, or like putting you in shape so you can become better and better. So don't get frustrated if you play the game. And this happens that you can lose 0-2 in the tournament, but you shouldn't give up, because the best players that exist are that good because they didn't give up on a time where they could give up. So stay motivated if you play the game. I'm playing this game for over 10 years in a competitive way, and there are ups and downs, but you shouldn't like be that frustrated about it, because the success, you will get your reward if you're putting enough time in it.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Sephiblack, and for the interview. Thank you so much. And well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Challenger League Season 6 and in the Tekken Germany Championship in December. So good luck to you in those tournaments. And yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you also, Sinjo, for being here in the interview. It was a pleasure for talking with you.